Sitting comfortably, keeping your spine straight. Relax your shoulders and your hands close to the body. Relax your face. Relax your breath. Watch your thoughts and see how they are settling down and reducing. Now inhale and exhale. Join your both the palms in Anjali Mudra. We will chant Om 3 times with 3 exhalations. Inhaling. Slowly releasing your palms down and gently open your eyes. Welcome. So today in this session we are having the first session of Ayurvedic diet and yogic lifestyle. We will see in Ayurvedic diet what according to Ayurveda what we should eat, how we should eat, how much to eat, and according to Ayurveda what are the types of diets, what are the types of bodies, and then what according to yoga our lifestyle should be. So Ayurveda, first we will see what is the meaning of the word Ayurveda. Ayur in Sanskrit is the word for life, and Veda in Sanskrit is the word for science or knowledge. Knowledge of life. So Ayurveda was a sister science, is already even today is a sister science of yoga. Yogis throughout the tradition, they have used certain medical methods to keep themselves healthy so that their spiritual practices do not hamper. So they used herbs, they used foods, they used many things, and in the process a whole new medical science came up, a whole new system of medical science. And the perspective of Ayurveda is not as the perspective of allopathy or the modern medicine or the drug system, because Ayurveda originated from that space where people were more inwards, more aware, more in the search of truth, and those practitioners who were spiritual practitioners also, and at the same time they were the practitioners of Ayurveda. So throughout the different centuries in India, this system developed, and it is a time tested system. It is developing slowly from many millennia. And many yogis, many spiritual practitioners, many Ayurvedic practitioners, they contributed in the part of the process. Now many yogis who were enlightened, who were spiritual practitioners, they were also Ayurvedic practitioners, and many such Ayurvedic practitioners who were not yogis were also there. In India, past, in the old times, there was a period where people were studying grammar, or they were grammarians or mathematics or logicians, philosophers. Sometimes they were supporters to the king, like helpers, guide to the kings. So mostly such people who were in such fields, most of the times in India, they were also spiritual practitioners. Some were not, some were, and those who were spiritual practitioners, their understanding, their inner insight of the world, of the life, of the world, that affected their work. That is how you see in all the different dimensions of India, in different things, in cuisine, in education, in clothing, in daily habits, everywhere you will find some alignment in tune with nature. Food is also considered in such a way in India that it should take you towards purification of the being. Clothing also in India was being worn in such a way that it keeps the body relaxed and supports the energy movement, and keeps us natural and connected with the nature. Same way, all such things were affected by such spiritual practitioners, all because they were in different professions and they were spiritual practitioners also. So same way, when comes to health, they said your body is not something different from God, or what we say, it is not something different from the part and parcel of this process of yoga. Body is the gross form of mind, mind is the subtle form of body. Thoughts, emotions, they are the subtle form of our being, and then this physical body, these structures, form which we have, physical form, that is the gross part of the same thing. So this being is made up from gross to subtle parts. So Ayurveda is also having its recommendations in such a way that it supports the purification process, it helps the inner growth, and it keeps the health in such a way that it is not just a drug based system, it is not just a system where you are just considering about the physical health. It is considering about the spiritual health, it is considering about the evolution of consciousness also. Even if you are not talking about yoga practices, Ayurveda itself independently talking about yoga, just like yoga practices are talking about inner growth, Ayurveda independently also is talking about inner growth and spiritual upliftment, growth of consciousness, and what is health. Okay, so here also we have, in yoga we have seen pranayama practices. In Ayurveda also it recommends pranayama. Ayurveda also recommends meditation for health of emotions, for health of spiritual being, for health of physical. So it also has, it doesn't give like In yoga, Hatha Yoga, we have listed asana practices, this and that, so many things. It doesn't give the practices in that way, but it recommends, because they both were considered together, not a separate thing before. It is a kind of part of yoga only. Everything is part of yoga. Any practice which is helping you to evolve further is a part of yoga practice. So then the perspective of Ayurveda also was very different. Obviously, because in modern medicine, the perspective is only limited to the physicality, physical form. Maximum to, then comes psychology, maximum to emotions, thoughts. But that also, psychology also refers everything, like even if they're talking about emotions, even if they're talking about feelings, that also they talk in the language of words. So even psychology is not fully touched in a way, because feeling cannot be spoken about, they can be felt. So human tried, modern mind tried to enter into subtle form, but even then we are using the language of the gross. So we have not really entered into the subtlest part of our being in the modern view. So it is very much limited to the gross part, modern view. Even psychologically, when we are talking about the subtle part, but that also is just limited in the language of words and thoughts and analysis and psychological analysis and talking this and that. But the emotions are not what we can just talk about. They can be felt, they have to be lived. So the perspective of Ayurveda is very, very subtle and deeper than the modern medicine. Now, what is the perspective? Ayurveda says that this being which we are having, this body, is not something different from what is there outside. This body is also made of 5 elements, and that outside nature is also made of 5 elements. So there is no much difference between the outer and this form. Everything is one. So to heal this body, if you can align it with the nature, with those 5 elements which are naturally existing in a proper synchronicity in the nature, then your body will remain healthy if it is in tune with nature, because nature is in health, perfect health. Even if things are leaves are drying and falling down and new leaves are coming, that is the way life goes and death happens, and that is the process nature remains in. So if we remain in the tune with it, then we remain healthy, we remain easy, as we were discussing, we remain simple, and that is a very purified stage. So Ayurveda asks you to follow all such guidelines which helps you to become more natural. You make your food also according to that, live according to that, habits according to that. So Ayurveda doesn't directly give you medicine, that this is the medicine, you take it and it will fix. It doesn't directly jump into medicine. It works on the lifestyle correction first. There are medicines, there is a full pharmacology in Ayurveda. It is based on herbs and it is based on very long time of experiments and research done by many yogis and many Ayurveda practitioners, and that is also very time and tested method. There are such medicines also in Ayurveda which are continuing since centuries and they work very much effective. It's not that they just pick some herbs and just make the paste and give you that, like a very nomadic lifestyle. That is not the way. Ayurveda is very deep. They have even devised such processes to clean the body, to clean the system, that there is a process of 21 days where you enter into different stages to clean your body mind system. In some stage you will be fasting, in some stage you will be drinking some particular ghee or clarified butter. So they give you a lot of fat and give nothing else. And then that fat, it goes through the intestines, and as it comes out, it released out from the body, it brings out the toxin. There are many such deep processes it brought, Ayurveda, which modern medicine is not even able to think of. Very biological processes Ayurveda practitioners have devised.
And it doesn't affect liver?
It is a 21 day of process. It is also reduced to 14 days and sometimes even 10 days. Virechana they call it, and it reduces the pitta. It is for pitta people. It fully kills the whole toxins in the body. The amount of toxins gets accumulated. So I'm just giving you an example that there are such processes, very deep processes in Ayurveda. It cleanses your whole energy system, it cleanses your whole digestive system, your whole cardiovascular system. So many such practices are there. So there are medicines also in Ayurveda which are centuries old, and they work very effectively. But before that, Ayurveda tells you that you should correct the lifestyle, and then it starts giving you more deeper insight how the nature is sustaining in different forms. For example, we have ice, water and vapor, three forms of water, right? Same way, nature also exists in different forms. So Ayurveda says that there are three natures in the environment, in the existence, and Ayurveda calls them Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Ayurveda simply calls them Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Ayurveda says that these natures are everywhere in the environment. Your body is made up in their structure. The food you are eating is having them. The time of the day is having them. The nature around you is having them. Everything is having a combination of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So I will just tell you what is the meaning of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata, you can say, is kind of air element. So it has the property of what air is having. So what are the properties of air? Air is cool, air is dry, air moves. Okay, so such type of properties are there. Air is cold, air is dry. In general properties, it can be moist also, but if it is not, if it is just, we are talking about generally the properties of air, then these are the properties you can say. Dry, then mobile, it moves, it has a property of movement. If there is no movement, there is no air. Then it is also irregular or inconsistent. It is not always smooth. It is up and down, up and down. Right? So such types of properties Vata is having. Then Pitta is kind of fire. So what are the properties of fire? Heat. Heat is one. Then Pitta is having another property, which is that because fire is not a very heavy thing, it is light. So lightness. Movement is also there in Pitta, because fire moves. Fire is not just stable, fire is moving. So that is also there. Then another property is that Pitta is also oily. So such types of properties Pitta is having, and the person who is having this type of nature will also have them. Same way a person who is having Vata type of nature will also have these properties. Now if we move to Kapha, Kapha is kind of, you can relate it to oil or density, heaviness. These are types of nature in the surrounding. So obviously it is oily, it is heavy, it is stable, right? It is cold, right? It is bulky, dense. So just for example, there are innumerable properties of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So they are in the human body. Human body is also having the combinations of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and they are in proportions. Like somebody is having more Pitta, somebody is having more Vata or more Kapha, or somebody is having Pitta high, or maybe 70% Pitta or 50% Pitta, 30% Vata, 20% Kapha. So they are in proportion. And Ayurveda says that all these three doshas, they call them doshas, means natures. They should be in perfect balance of 1:1:1. But it is not possible because we are in this form because of our karmas, and because of some my previous patterns of my previous life. I am in this form, I am having more Pitta suppose in this life, or more Kapha. So that is also in my gene. But what I can do, I can just always try to balance it with my food, my lifestyle, my habits, to remain as healthy as possible. So if you look at this situation, since we are not balanced, and balancing them gives perfect health. That is why there is never perfect health. Nobody is perfectly healthy. Sometimes even if a person is having nothing, is having some slight cold, or if we are not only talking about physical health, find any person who is fully emotionally settled, physically fully healthy, mind is also calm and relaxed and peaceful and meditative, breath is also flowing naturally, everything is well and perfect. That is what yogis are trying to do. So that is the state. Perfect health is the state of yoga. Then after but some point of time, the physical health may not matter to a yogi. When yogi is moving beyond physical, beyond the form, into formless state, then in the soul level, in the level of spirituality, what people understand as spirit and the level of soul, or the higher conscious states, physical body may not matter. A yogi may even drop a physical body. Even if it gets diseased, then also yogi sometimes doesn't care. The body is anyway going to die after some time, so yogi leaves the body once he gets into the states of yoga. So now I will just list these characteristics more. Okay. Before that, I will tell you all these properties are existing in the food also, what food we are eating. There are types of food which are more having Vata properties, types of food which are having more of Kapha properties, more of Pitta properties. For example, chili. It is a pitta food. Oil. Most of the oils are kapha. There are some oils which even increase vata. There are some oils which even increase pitta. So, because oils are also coming from different vegetation and plants, so they have the properties of them. So that is why. Now, time of the day is also having these properties. There is a clock, and after every 6 hours, 24 hours are there, 6, 6, and it changes. So, pitta time comes, kapha time comes, 4 hours of clock, 6 times it changes. Okay, so kapha time comes, pitta time comes, vata time comes. Then again kapha time comes, pitta time comes, vata time comes. That way. So afternoon you can see is a pitta time. Morning, evening is cool. Afternoon is hot. And these natures are also connected with the movement of the planets, movement of the sun, movement of the moon. So there is a pitta time in the afternoon, and there is a pitta time at the midnight also. Time of heat in the midnight. Okay. Same way, in the season also these doshas exist. Like summer time is a pitta time. Then there comes a time of before winters, dryness, cool, vata time. Then winters, kapha time. So they also circulate in the season. So they are everywhere, in the food, in the nature, in the behavior. Like anxiety is a form of vata pitta. Anxiety is increased number of thoughts, movement in emotions. So they are just natures and they exist everywhere. That is what Ayurveda says. So Ayurveda 101, if we are talking always, if we are just talking the first concept of Ayurveda, then always this comes. What is vata pitta kapha? Ayurveda has many such concepts about life, about food, about things, but very basic we can see is vata pitta kapha. So I will just list out few points. Like if we are talking about vata, so you just listen to my what I am telling about the points. So early winter, late fall time is a vata time, which is dry and cool. Properties of vata is cold, dry, light, swift, mobile, irregular, inconsistent, rough. Thin, in humans, vata exists in such a way, it brings thin body, light body, wiry frame, long and tapered fingers and toes, small and dark eyes, smaller mouth and thin lips. I'll send you these details, these points. Dryness of the skin because vata, air, so skin dryness, itching also in the skin is a problem sometimes. And in the times of, this is the vata time going on, before winters. And a vata person may get itching in this time. Then irregularity in bones, irregularity in teeth, in hair, dry joints. Arthritis is the most common problem in vata. And when even in the lifetime also there are these doshas, like the childhood time is kapha time, person moves to young age is a pitta time, and person moves to old age is a vata time. Erratic appetites, irregular digestion in vata, because vata is irregular. Extreme sensitivity to cold, wind and dry weather. Erratic, I've already said appetites, then they may suffer from arthritis, joint, because Joints are where we need lubrication because they're all the time moving, and Vata is having less lubrication. Kapha is all about lubrication. So it has the property of dryness. So whatever becomes dry faster, Vata will affect that. So joints. Then anxiety, migraines, because speed, movement. Vata is having speed. And prana energy moves very fast in Vata person. So they may get faster headache, they may get anxious, they may get frustrated, irritated. So migraine kind of problem may happen, anxiety, attacks, panic attacks. So it can be triggered by any fear or anything, but speed. Emotional fluctuations. Light and restless sleep. They are very light sleepers. Then very active mind, very creative because they bring new, they are moving. Artistic with imaginative ideas, air. Ideas change very often and open and tolerant to others. They are energetic but exhaust very fast because they move all the time. Comes to the next fire, Pitta. So this is the time of late winters, after that early spring. This is the time when the person is also start feeling the effect of Pitta. So what are those? Pitta, so this is the time, sorry, of summer, Pitta. When summer is coming and heat is increasing. Okay. So Pitta is hot, oily, light, liquid, mobile, sharp, at the same time smooth. Smooth also. Fire is sharp but smooth. Medium sized built in humans, moderate muscle tone, Raji coloring, medium sized eyes that are light in color. Skin are fair, warm, reddish and soft, moist. It may have freckles and moles with a tendency towards rashes and acne. Soft light colored reddish hair, tendency to graying of hair or bald early. So Pitta people may lose their hair fast because it's burning. So exhaustion is the property of Pitta. Pitta people have lots of aggression, lots of energy, but they exhaust also very fast because it burns. So it burns easily, they also get sunburns very fast. Sensitive to heat and humidity. Extremities are warm with good circulation in the body. Robust and healthy appetites. Become irritable if they skip a single meal. Prone to inflammation of muscles and tissues, especially in the shoulders, middle back, where they accumulate a lot of stress. They may get indigestion or heartburn. Regular menstrual cycles in women with heavy bleeding and PMS. Vata may have irregular menstrual cycle because irregularity is there. So Pitta is having regular menstrual cycle. Light but moderate sleep, often overheat during sleep. Now their mind and their emotions are, they are intelligent, they are powerful people, they are clear and focused minds, aggressive, quick temper, competitive, workaholic, overly ambitious and great conversationalist. They can do good conversations. Pitta. Then moving to Kapha, this is late winters and early spring when it is cool, wet and oily and heavy, dense and static and stable. So look, just imagine these properties in different places, in the people, in the food, in everywhere they are existing. So heavy, large, strong frame in the body, tendency to gain weight very easily, well developed chest, large and attractive light brown eyes or blue eyes, round faces with fuller lips, soft, thick, oily hair that are wavy and plentiful. They have very good hair, Kapha people. Pitta people also have good hair, but they lose also, graying also become faster. Kapha people are intolerant to cold and damp environments because already the body is very cold. Extreme cold extremes that may be clammy, sweaty palms. Steady appetites with slow but regular bowel movements. Tendency towards cold, congestion, allergies, water retention, and sluggish digestive system. Regular menstrual cycle with very less PMS. Heavy sleepers with tendency to oversleep. These Kapha people sometimes they are lazy and lethargic also. Easygoing, fun loving, patient, slow, endurance is there, very grounded. Kapha people are very grounded. Deposition, and they have resistance against change. These many properties I have listed out. If you see, you will find something of them in every person. So all of us are having Vata, Pitta, Kapha, but they are in different proportions in us. Somebody is having more Pitta, less Kapha, more Vata. So there are now people ask how to balance them. If I have suppose more aggression and I get anxious, I have too much of movement and irregularity, too many of thoughts, what to do? So if you see, Ayurveda is also telling you to balance yourself, to keep yourself balanced, your emotions, your mind. So on the way, in many scriptures, Ayurveda suggests meditations and pranayamas and spiritual practices. But here, according to health, it is saying that the food that you are eating is also having these properties, which only an Ayurveda practitioner can tell you. These days you can even find that on internet, that if you are eating this particular food, whether it is a Vata type of food, Kapha type of food or Pitta type of food, then it is just to match the following. It is a summer time, afternoon time, you are a Pitta person, it is not at all good to eat chili that time. Right? Not at all good to eat spicy food. It is Vata time, and same way that time that type of body is there, so same type of Vata food you should not eat. So same thing, you just have to do match the following. So Ayurveda says that to balance one dosha, you can use other dosha to balance it. Like for Pitta, you can use Kapha to balance. It will balance very nicely. So hot time is there, so eat in the afternoon like curd or buttermilk, yogurt. These things you can eat in summer afternoon time, which will be good. So that way Ayurveda suggests to balance. But immediately the person will ask that, okay, in books and in scriptures, Ayurveda practitioners have told that what food is Kapha, what food is Pitta, what food is Vata, and what habits, what times of the day are Vata, Pitta, Kapha. I will get all the information about the outer from different sources. But what about my own body? Who will tell that what kind of dosha I am having? Whether I am more of Pitta, more of Vata, more of Kapha. How to know? So Ayurveda says that there are two ways. Traditionally there was only one way, but today we have internet, so we have two ways. So the first way and the only way before was to go to an Ayurvedic practitioner. He will in two ways check your body type. What type of body mind type you are having, what is your prakriti, what is the nature of your body or your mind. So they will ask you some questions. What are the behaviors, what is the pattern of your food, what is the pattern of your habits, and what is the history and all that. Sometimes they don't even ask you questions, they just simply check your pulse. And there is a very great skill in Ayurveda which is pulse checking. Through the checking of pulse, they can tell you what food you have eaten few days before and 1 week before, but not that way. Ayurvedic practitioners are skilled in checking the pulse on their 3 fingertips, first to second and third, and every fingertip they divide 5 to 6 parts. So on their 3 fingertips they can find different patterns in 15 ways how your pulse is moving, and they will move their hand accordingly and check what kind of movement is there in pulse. According to that, and there are ways how pulse moves. Sometimes they say it moves like a snake, sometimes they say it moves like a frog, it jumps, sometimes it is smooth. So they have their ways, they have their methods to test it, and practitioners can tell how your body is going. I can give you an example. I had back pain once, and I showed that to my Ayurveda friend. She's a practitioner, Ayurveda practitioner, she's a doctor. And I was just checking that, and I just asked her, can you check my pulse? I was sitting and she checked, and she was just sitting for like this for 1 minute. Do you have back pain? I said yes. So they know, they get to know. So they have their methods. They don't need machines. They made this instrument of the body mind system as machine to use. So they are more into nature. They are more through nature they enter into the system. So Ayurveda practitioner will check your pulse, and then Ayurveda practitioner will tell you what is the body type and what type of food you should eat, how to balance your doshas. Another way, which is a very gross way, you can use internet, and there are questionnaires on internet, and they will ask you around 40-50 questions, that what is your food type, what is your liking, do you like more sweet, how's the sleep pattern, behavior, everything. Accordingly they will say, oh, you are more of pitta, you are more of kapha, you are more of vata, that way. But they are not very exact, obviously, it is just an estimation. So you can try to do these questionnaires multiple times and try to be neutral as possible. So be honest when you're answering these questionnaires. You can find them for free on internet. Ayurveda questionnaire, dosha, Ayurveda dosha questionnaire or quiz. They're available on websites for free. So you can try to fill them many times, 5-10 times, and you may get more exact results, like when you conclude aggregate result. That is one way you can do by self. So people are also interested in reading about their doshas and knowing about their body type, and then eating those types of food, lifestyle modification. It becomes a lifestyle modification thing, and it helps. It improves your food habits, it improves your sleep, it improves your diet, and body changes, things improve. Maybe some people, not some, a lot of people in the world are having coffee first in the morning, which is the worst thing a person can do to the digestive system. Empty stomach drinking coffee, because coffee is a pitta food.
Pitta people who drink coffee, they even.
Yeah. So always in the morning a person should eat something neutral, not acidic. Pitta is acidic, coffee is highly acidic. So morning we should not eat anything acidic. We should eat alkaline foods like vegetables, or even we can eat soaked dry fruits or something like that. not the acidic food, not to create empty stomach. If you are giving acid, like empty stomach, if you eat pineapple, you'll get acidity. Same thing is coffee, it is acidic food. So these types of habits people are having, just they just want a kick in the morning to wake up. That is not the way. You can do something, some physical activity. You can jump for 5 minutes, you'll become active. 1 minute if you jump, you'll become active. Kapal bhati you can do. Bhastrika you can do. You can do any such thing. Why do you need, but people are addicted to the taste of the coffee, and then the
Addicted to
caffeine addiction is there. So there are things, and these habits, they keep us in the web. So this is how Ayurveda talks. I have just given one perspective. There are many such topics in Ayurveda which are taking you to very deep about the body mind system, about the life. So Ayurveda is also very deep science, about going very deep into the human system.
What about Ayurvedic counseling, relationship counseling?
Yeah, it talks Ayurveda, then it will not be only Ayurveda. It will include spiritual counseling also. It will be mix of psychology, mix of Ayurveda, because Ayurveda is not that it is excluding psychology. It is neither excluding psychology. Psychology was always the part of spirituality. It is a part of yoga. Because relationships are all somewhere we are connecting to each other because of behaviors, energies, karma and everything. Somebody else, we are not there for somebody else actually, we are there for us. We connect to them. So everything is related to us, to our patterns, to our karma, behavior and everything.
Yeah.
So at the end everything falls into the basket of yoga. So it becomes, if you expand the horizon of the counseling, it will anyway become spiritual counseling at the end. But if you remain limited to psychology, then it will be remaining limited to the mind. It will talk about mind and therapies, and then you keep on healing. There are people who are healing themselves throughout the life. Their healing never finishes. They are taking therapies till the end. Their therapy never ends. So sometimes
they go and make money and then spend on psychology.
In therapies, that is the way. So there are people who are taking therapies forever. But if they become more natural, more easy, more liquid, more fluid, if they just enter into easiness, life, we don't need therapy if we are living life. When we are not living life and we are just trying to, we will do all the stuff out with unconscious, and then we come here to take therapy.
Constant analysis.
Yeah. So that is how all the counseling, everything is just if and also depends who is giving you counseling. The person who is giving you counseling, Ayurveda practitioner, is he learned some books in Ayurveda and sat and became a doctor that I know? Look into his own relationships or their own relationships. What is going on? So if a yogi is giving you counseling, then it will be a different thing. They will not only talk, their counseling will be much deeper. They will transform the relationships also. So that is the way. So we will see few more points in the next session. We conclude our session here. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Okay, sitting comfortably, keeping your spine straight. Take a few deep breathings. Deeply inhale and slowly exhale. As you inhale and exhale, join your both the palms in Anjali Mudra. We'll chant 1 Om and 3 Shantis, deeply inhaling. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Slowly releasing your palms down and gently open your eyes.